Hello, hello, hello. How are you today? I am super excited to bring you this topic today. We are going to talk about growing your Facebook group or your list, the truth behind why you are not getting clients from your activities. Okay, so if you guys do not know me, my name is Lisa Balthaser. I am a business coach, and I show coaches and service-based business owners how to grow and scale their business online so that they have repeatable systems and processes to create consistent revenue and a sustainable business. So today we are going to talk about a topic that you guys have probably heard over and over and over again. So I'm going to dispel some myths. What you hear online marketers tell you is that you need to grow your list, you need to grow your group, and you do, but not in the way that they are telling you. So let's talk about this. When they say to you, you need to grow your list, the implication is that the bigger the list, the better. And that's the same with groups. When they're telling you to grow your group, grow your group, grow your group, they are implying that the bigger, the better. Okay? While that could be true, it's not necessarily true. And we're going to talk about why that is. Okay, so there's a lot of things that you're being told to do online, such as grow your list, grow your group. You need a group. You need an audience. Yes, you do need an audience. That's absolutely true. But what they're telling you is that, in growing your list and growing your group is that the implication is that bigger is better. Here's what they're not telling you. There's a whole list that they're not telling you. Okay, so I do apologize because I am outside, and as I am outside, they just decided to empty the trash next door. So I hope you guys cannot hear that. So here's what they are not telling you. Okay, they're not telling you that the people that are making money from their list, from their group, have done a whole lot of things beforehand in order to be making money from their list or their group. Okay, so let's talk about that. So those who are influencers, so say we're talking about the big marketers with tens of thousands of people on their email list. If they put an offer out to the world, they're going to have people buy because they have tens of thousands of people on their list. Just by the sheer numbers, they're going to get sales. Okay? And if their list is big enough, and a lot of the big time marketers, their lists are plenty big to get a really good income. Okay? Most of the average people online don't have that kind of list. Okay? So therefore, it's a lot harder. You can't just listen to them. Oh, well, I put this out and I made $300,000 from this one offer that I put out. Yes, but what they're not telling you is that they have 300,000 people on their list. Okay? When you have a list, or when you have in a Facebook group, on average, only 3% of your audience is ready to buy at any time. So that is whenever you put an offer out there, only 3 people out of 100 are even ready to buy. Okay? So here's the breakdown. So if 3 people are ready to buy and you have a list of 100 people and you have an offer of $1,000, your likelihood of selling to all three of those people that are ready at that moment are slim to none, unless you are personally connecting with every single one of those 100 people, because they may not be seeing your offer. They may not even know about your offer. Okay. They may not be getting notifications from your group. They may not be opening your email. Okay. So when you have, say, 100 people in a group, only a small fraction of those people are going to actually ever see what you post. If you're not reaching out to these people and you only have 100 people and you have an offer of $1,000, your likelihood of getting more than one sale from that group is very, very small based on the numbers. Okay. This is just sheerly based on the numbers. Okay. When you have a list of the same amount of people, not only is it the list that matters, but it's how many people open. Okay, so if you have a list of, say, we're going to use that same 100 people. If you have a list of 100 people and you have, say you have like a pretty good open rate, 25%, which is pretty decent by today's standards. A lot of people don't open email today. So if you're getting 25 people out of 100 open your email that you're sending an offer out to, the likelihood of you getting more than one sale out of that, and even one sale, is very small. Okay, without some kind of follow-up. Okay, so that's why you need to know the numbers. You need to really know the numbers. This is what the marketers are not telling you. When they tell you to grow your group, you think, oh, bigger is better. The more people that will see my offer will buy. But they're not seeing your offer. That's the thing. And if they're not the right people, they're not paying attention to your group. Okay? So that's why I want you guys to understand the size of your group, the size of your list does not matter as much as the quality of your list and the quality of your group. So if you are selling to an audience that is a really refined audience that knows exactly what you offer and knows exactly how you can help them, that read what you put out to the world, that pay attention to you because they know that you can help them, your percentages are going to be much higher because you're only focused on people that are really interested in you. The problem is when people have groups and when people have email lists, okay, we're going to talk about this a little later, but we're going to talk about groups for right now. So when you have a Facebook group, for instance, and you're inviting people in, or you're, however you get people to your group, you should not let people in your group who are not exactly your ideal client, okay? As a matter of fact, I cleaned out my list 2 months ago. I removed 25% of the people that were in my group because they either had zero engagement for like a long period of time, or they just weren't the right people for my group. Okay? And there's nothing wrong with that, because if you're not getting engagement in your group, it's not feeding the algorithm, and fewer people are actually seeing what you do put there. So you want people in there that are truly interested in what you're saying. Smaller is better as long as they are the right people, okay? And that's what I want you guys to hear, you know, because there's so much mixed messaging out there, so much. And as a matter of fact, I bought into a lot of this messaging for a long time. I thought, oh my gosh, I don't have a large enough group. I don't have a large enough email list. But the truth of the matter is, I cleaned out my email list and my group, and I clean out my email list regularly because your open rate determines a lot of your deliverability. So if people aren't opening or people are marking you as spam, it's not going to be delivered as well. So you want people that are opening your email, that are paying attention to what you're doing. Otherwise, it's like talking to the wall. It's not doing any good for your business. So as far as the email or the Facebook group goes, I know it's harder to fill a group when there's fewer people in. I get it. I totally get it. But if you have the right people in and you have engagement in your group will be shown to more people and you will get more of the right people. When you are have people come into your group, make sure you're asking the right questions to determine whether it's the right people. There are people that I do not let in my group when they ask to join. And I think you should do that too. Not everybody is a good fit for your group. You have a group write-up as to exactly what your group is about. And if people don't fit that exact thing, you shouldn't be letting them in your group. Let me just put this up here. I forgot to put that up there. So you shouldn't be letting them in your group because they're not the right fit. They're not going to engage and they're not going to care what you say. And why would you want somebody in your audience, a potential buyers, that doesn't care what you have to say? You want people that do care what you have to say. So cultivate the right audience. It's better to have a smaller audience and the right audience than a large audience that doesn't pay attention. Okay? Numbers do not matter. That's a vanity thing. It's a lot of people go online and you see people bragging about, oh, I have 10,000 people in my Facebook group. You can come join and you can promote your business. But those 10,000 people don't really mean anything unless they buy. So, I mean, it may be good for you if you go in there and you're able to promote your thing, but you don't know how engaged they are. The numbers don't matter as much as the quality does. Always, always, always keep that in mind. Okay. Now let's talk about freebies. Okay. Because freebies are a lot of how people get on your list. Freebies are super important. They are a great way to get people onto your list. But when you are creating freebies, it is super, super important to be hyper focused on who exactly your audience is and what exactly they will want solved. If you do that, if you are hyper focused, you will get the right people on your list. If you're not, hey, Alicia, how are you? Keep learning. Somebody else, Facebook user, I can't see who the other person is, but if you let StreamYard know, I will be able to see who that is. But yes, if you are hyper focused when you create your freebies, think of your big offer. Your freebie should somehow lead into that big offer that you offer people, your ideal audience, okay? So when you're thinking of creating a freebie, make sure it has something to do with your big offer, for starters. And the other thing is that it has to be hyper focused on who that ideal client is, okay? And if you do that, you will get a higher quality list. Now, that doesn't mean that you're not going to get some people that aren't your ideal client, because there's no guarantees in any of this stuff. But you want as much as possible to be hyper focused and attract your exact audience. Okay. So if you're creating a freebie about one thing, but your offer is about something else, there's no connection, and it's not necessarily filling the need of your exact ideal client. Okay. So I just want you to keep that in mind. So hyper targeted audience for your freebies is going to lead to a higher quality email list, okay? And if you're the same way with your group, hyper-focused in your write-up, it's going to lead to a hyper-focused audience in your group. But you have control over the group because you can either let them in or not. And like I said, I do not let everybody in because everybody's not my audience, okay? Yeah, I already talked about that. I have a note here. Everybody's not right for your group. And just make sure you're filling your group with your ideal client so that when you put content out, it's the content that exact audience wants. You'll have much, much better engagement if you do that, okay? So let's talk about some other things that you can do, okay? So you want to always, always, always focus on value and quality over volume, okay? So if you put out a post, for instance, like everybody's like, oh, my post went viral, or my TikTok went viral, or my reel went viral. Oh my gosh, look at me. I had 200,000 people watch my reel. That's great. But did you have any sales from that reel? If the answer is no, that 200,000 people is a vanity number. It does not matter in the scheme of your business. The numbers don't matter, okay, unless they lead to sales. So when you are putting out any content, you want to focus on high quality, high value content that is going to resonate right here with your ideal clients, okay? When you have that, you're going to attract into your group, onto your email list, those right people, okay? Now let's talk about, let's get back to the Facebook group, because for many of you, you have a Facebook group for your business and you want people in there. It's your audience, it's your hub, it's where you do things. It could be on a page, it could be on your profile, but I'm just going to talk about the group. But if you use your page, if you use your profile, keep in mind this is the same principle, okay? But I'm going to talk about group because that's what I use. When you have a group that you are trying to bring people into, because those are your people. Those are the people that want to hear what you have to say. Those are the people you want to sell to, okay? When you have a group that you're bringing people in like that, you must have a system or process to get into conversation with them immediately. Okay, so let's talk about that. So part of my process is that when people come into my group, I immediately add them to the welcome post, which is part of my process. They also get, as long as they give me their email address, and I do ask for email addresses because I think it's important to stay in contact with people, because people don't see, like, you don't get the notifications. So it's really important to ask for the email address because people aren't getting notifications. I have groups set up for all notifications and I don't even get all of the notifications. So you cannot rely on Facebook giving them the notifications, okay? So always ask for their email address. Some will give it to you and some won't. While we would like it, you don't want to not admit somebody just because they didn't give you their email address, even though it's a group requirement, because they could be your best client. You don't know, okay? But what I will say is always get it. And once they're in your group, there's other ways that you can get it. So it's not like, if they don't give it to you up front, it's not like you can't get it later. You can. There's many ways to do that. But what I want to focus on is the process and the system that you bring them in, okay? So you're bringing them into the group. You're making sure they're attached to some kind of a welcome post. You can do it. I do one and I keep it up for a month at a time or 2 months at a time. Depends on how many people I have coming in. And I just tag them in it for them to read what the post is. You can do a new post every time you have people coming in there, and some people do, and that's actually the best way. Okay? But once that's done, you're not done. Okay, because in your welcome post, you're setting the group expectations. You're telling them what to expect. Okay, and in my write-up, okay, with my group, I tell people straight up, look to receive something from me in your inbox. I tell them straight up, I will be contacting you in your inbox, because not only am I sending them an email if they give me their email address right away, and not everybody does, so some of this has to be done in the DMs, okay? So I send them an email, a welcome, and then I ask them to schedule a call with me so I can get to know their business so I can better serve them in the group, okay? If they don't give me their email address, I use the same process in the DMs. I welcome them to the group, and I try to set up a coffee chat with them. This is not a sales call, guys. This is not a sales call. They have not gotten to know you enough yet, unless you personally know them. But for most people, they're not going to know you enough yet. This is not a sales call. This is a connect call. This is something that you can get to know them, learn about their business, point them to content that you already have in the group that is valuable to their specific situation. So not only are you getting on the call and getting to know them, you're offering a quick win, and you're pointing them to something that you've already created as the expert that can help them solve a problem or get to a place that they need to be to solve that problem. So remember, if you guys watch any of my videos, you know that it takes at least 16 touches with anybody for them to want to buy from you on average. That doesn't mean somebody's not going to buy it too, and it doesn't mean that somebody's not going to wait till they're 50 contacts with you. That's just the average, 16. So when you're doing each of these things, that counts. And when you're showing your expertise by meeting with them, giving them a quick win, by pointing them to a piece of content that can be high value for them at that moment, not only are you increasing the number of touches by pointing them to something else that's another touch, you're solving a problem, which wins you some more stars, okay? So when you're doing these things, each time they're getting more familiar with you, they're getting more comfortable with you, they're seeing that you are the right person for them, okay? And when you have all of this systematized, you have a process for this, you should be just following it each and every time. I mean, I have a process that I follow. I have an email that goes out. I actually record them in ClickUp. You can use Trello. You can use Asana. You can use whatever it is you want. You can use the spreadsheet. I used to use the spreadsheet. It's just easier to use ClickUp for me. So I have everybody in my Facebook group is in my ClickUp, where I can move them from board to board, so I know what I've discussed with them, what I need to follow up with them, what they need. I can look at it and know exactly what they need. So it helps me to create content for the people in my group, and helps me to better connect with them. And it allows me to reach out if I have a program coming up, and I know there's people that need that specific thing. It allows me to follow up with them. So you have to have a process for your group, okay? Otherwise, you forget people are there. There's it could end up being 5,000 people. Well, you're not going to know 5,000 people. You're not going to remember 5,000 people. But if you have them organized with a system or a process, you can either hire somebody to take care of that for you, or you can do it yourself. It can be a lot when the group gets larger, so you may want to hire somebody, and that's okay. Okay, so have that system or process to immediately connect, get in the DMs, welcome them. Even if you send them an email, you should be doing that within the next, within a week for sure. Okay, at the very most. and then try to schedule a coffee chat. After that, and this goes with your list and your group, you want to nurture them. And you're going to do that by providing high value content, by giving them opportunities to have a quick win, giving them maybe a freebie. You're going to just nurture that relationship, okay? Because you want them to have those 16 touches. You want them to get to know you. You want them to see you as the expert, okay? Then, after you've nurtured them for however long you have set to nurture them, you're going to follow up. And you need to have a really robust follow-up system. Again, the numbers are kind of scary when you think about them. Sales do not usually happen on the first try. They do not happen on the second try. They do not happen on the third try. Now, some will, but on average, it takes about 7 sales conversations to get a sale, especially if it is a high ticket offer. That being said, you need to be diligent in your follow-up. Not pushy, but diligent. Be in conversation, check back with them. Hey, the last time we talked, you said you were taking a vacation. How did it go? It doesn't have to be business. It just has to be follow-up. You need to be in conversation, okay? When you do those things, you will start seeing more sales come in. Here's the kicker with that, and this is what the big marketers don't tell you. It's not as simple as sending an email out. It's not as simple as having a freebie. It's not as simple as having a big list. The follow-up and the value content take time and effort. And it's your time and effort or somebody that you hire. So these things don't just happen. You have to go out and get them. That's what they're not telling you, okay? It's not just a big list. It's not just putting the freebie out there. And the other thing that I want to note, if you are launching, okay, so I know a lot of you guys launch, and I have done launches in the past. If you launch, a high ticket offer, I'm talking about a high ticket offer here. If you launch a high ticket offer, if you launch a low ticket offer, you need even more people. If you launch a high ticket offer, you need at least 300 people that are interested in what you do in your group. At least 300, okay? If you're less than that, it's going to be a lot harder to reach your goals. But if you have that, you should be able to make enough sales to have it be a successful launch. And everybody's definition of success is different. Okay, and again, it's going to depend on the dollar amount. It's going to depend on how you did the launch. Okay, so like I've done 5-day launches in the past, and the 5-day launches were basically workshops that help them do something. Okay, that relates to my final offer. Okay, so when I'm talking about 300 people, I'm talking about 300 people actually engaged in the launch. So if you have a group of 300 people and not everybody's participating, you're probably not going to reach the goals that you want. You may do well, and there's nothing wrong with that. Now, or you can create a separate group just for the launch. Now, I have not done that. I really feel like I want to provide the value for people in the group that are really looking for the value in the group. So I've never created a separate group for my launches. But when your group gets bigger, you might want to do that. So right now, I have roughly 300 people in my group. I had about 400 people. Like I said, I took about 25% out of my group. And I'm just starting to build it up again. But if those are not the right people, and if they're not all participating, I'm not going to probably reach my sales goals, okay? Depending what they are. And I'm talking, like, I have a whole spreadsheet that calculates this stuff, but when I'm calculating a launch, I'm calculating at least a significant amount. I'm looking at $10,000 months, which equal a certain dollar amount in actual sales, which is much higher than that. So just be aware that when you're listening to marketers online and they're telling you you need a list, yeah, you need a list. When they're telling you you need a group, you don't necessarily need a group. It's just easier with a group. I have a group. It's just easier. So if you don't have a group and you want a group, maybe you want to start growing a group, but you don't necessarily need a group. When they're saying they're having these huge launches, oh, I made $150,000 in one launch. Is it possible? Absolutely possible. Is it likely for the average person? Probably not. That's what they're not telling you. Okay? So when you see people that are throwing numbers around online, those numbers are inflated, and you have to watch how they word it also, because if they're saying, oh, I did $150,000 in sales, okay? So for instance, if I have a $10,000 program and I sold 15 people, I've done a $150,000 launch. That does not mean I made $150,000 a month, okay? Because that's broken down usually into 12 months, and that's the income per month. That's the income revenue you have coming in. The launch is $150,000. Or maybe they'll say, I had $150,000 in sales. They had $150,000 in sales, which means the whole ticket, it doesn't mean that's $150,000 revenue. It's much less. Because if they have a $10,000 program, and you break that down into 12 months, and they had 15 or 10 people buy it, I forget what I just said. It's only going to be that number multiplied by 10. So it may be a $10,000 a month, or may not. But the thing is, you have to really watch what people are saying, because there's a lot of information that's thrown out there online that's not necessarily accurate. It's not actually portrayed the way it should be, and they're not doing something right. And that's not necessarily true. It's just that you need to grow with the right people. And they're not telling you that. They're just saying, oh, you need this big list. I have a $10,000 list. Get your list up to 5,000. Get your list up to 10,000. The numbers aren't going to matter if they're not the right people. I want you to be really clear on that. It has to be the right people. But yeah, so I just want to help you guys get better at what you do. I love helping people with what they do. Right now, I have open online marketing mastery, where we focus on the platforms and the tools and the processes and how to get into those conversations with people, how to use whatever platform, whatever system. This month we're talking about stories. Next month it's going to be something else. Last month it was Facebook, general Facebook, not anything specific. But what we're going over in online marketing mastery is we are talking about how to get into those conversations with people to get them onto a sales call eventually, and how to do that, how to get them into, like, a lot of people post online, but posting is not going to do it. Okay, you have to do so much more, and that's what we talk about in there. The focus every month is how to use that tool, how to use that app, how to use that thing to get people to convert, to get people into conversation with you, whether it's in the DMs, whether it's on a coffee chat, so that they can get to know you, so that they learn that you are the right one to help them with what they do. Now, online marketing mastery is only $47 a month right now. It will be going up to $99 eventually. And I want you guys to get in at the lower price. $47 a month. You have 2 sessions with me each month. They're group sessions, but you have individual personalized training from me if you show up with your questions. And for $47 a month, you're not going to get that anywhere. You're not going to get a coach coming in and giving you their eyeballs on your content, their eyeballs on your business, helping you get to where you want to go each and every month. And that's what happens in my program. I have at least 2 sessions a month where you have the opportunity to show up and get my eyeballs on your content, on your business, and help you. And we do some additional trainings, and every month what we do is when we talk about that process, system, app, program, we actually have action steps to take for the month. So you're given action steps to take for the month to see if that thing is going to work for you. Everything doesn't work for everybody, okay? And we're doing stories this month, and I just want to give you a quick little info on stories. So stories, what I found by looking at the stats on Instagram, on Facebook. I'm active on Facebook. I'm very active on Facebook. My stories on Facebook have really, really good reach. I'm not as active on Instagram, so my stories did not have as much reach. So there is a correlation there. Okay. So it's things like that we look at, that we talk about. Okay. So that you can focus on what is going to work for your business and not worry about all those other things that aren't working for you. Because not everything's going to work for everybody. Okay, so if you're interested, I invite you to join. I will put the link below. But I would love to have you there. And if you aren't sure, definitely hit me up at the DMs. Get on a coffee chat with me and see if it's right for you. Or because I have other ways that you can work with me. This is just what I am talking about today. But what I want is for you to be able to focus on the right things. And to not worry about all those other crazy things that you're hearing out there in the world, because you will be hearing them. People, they show all the money. They're like, oh, I'm making $10,000 a month. I'm making $15,000 a month. Are they? Or are they just saying that they had a $15,000 launch and now they are going to say that they are making $15,000 a month when it was only a $15,000 launch that's only bringing in about $1,000 or a little bit over $1,000 a month? You have to watch the wording. You have to watch the wording. These are things that people aren't telling you. They're trying to sell you. They want you to believe this is how it is. It's easy. You can do this. It's not easy. It takes work. It doesn't happen overnight. You don't throw up a Facebook group and have $10,000 a month coming in. It does not happen. So what I want you to do is to think about marketing the right way. Focus on the value. Focus on the exact customer that you want to help. And those are the things that are going to bring you closer to your goals than anything. Okay? Because if you have the wrong people, you're not going to sell to them. It's just that simple. So that is what I have for you today. Like I said, I'd love to have you in Online Marketing Mastery. I love the program. It's been something that I've wanted to do for a few years, and I just rolled it out a few months ago. But it is one of the programs that I really want to be one of my main programs for people to get into at a reasonable price and still get the coaching that they would in a higher level program. So that's what I have for you guys today. I hope you found value. If you did, tag somebody, let them know, share it out, whatever you feel is appropriate. But these are things that people are not telling you. You're seeing a lot of hype. It's not about the hype. It's about the reality. The reality is you need to focus on the right people. You need to be hyper focused on your offer and your freebie. And the more conversations you get into with people that are truly the right people, the higher your sales and closing rates will be. The big numbers don't matter. You can have 100 people, and if they're all the right people, you may get more than that 3% that buy. But if they're not the right people, it's probably going to be more like the 3%. So as long as you're focused on who they are, the right people, and be hyper focused on that, you're going to do better than that person that may have that big group, but they're not the right people. Okay? So that's what I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this. Like I said, if you did, share it, tag somebody. Let me know, because I want to provide content that is valuable for you and that will help you move forward. That is always my goal each and every week on Thursdays. So I'd love to hear back from you in the comments. Let me know how you enjoyed this, if it was helpful. And I will let you go. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you next week at 11 a.m. Eastern.